Timberwolves win 122-116 in Phoenix to finish the sweep of the Suns. Oh, what a glorious game. Pretty ugly, actually, through many stretches of the Timberwolves. You think, all right, eventually one or two of the studs in the Suns has to hit us and go game breaker. You get 49 points out of Devin Booker, 33 points out of Kevin Durant, 13 missed shots total out of those two. How underwhelming was that? How unfazed were these Timberwolves at that? They even get bad games out of Rudy Gobert, Mike Conley, not productive. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who's been dominant all series, finally missing jump shots. We still win that game. Why? Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns. Who would have thought the two stars are the one to really elevate? Ant's been there basically all series long. One mediocre game, but he's really elevated through a lot of these points. And even with all those stars that the Suns have, he has been the one. He has been the guy, answering every punch. And even as we're going back and forth in that fourth quarter, I'm like, yeah, they can do that, but we've got the guy. Our guy is going to answer time and time again, and he's going to do it with the most joyful, just generous smile and exuberance, charisma that is possible. I'm watching the game with my grouchy dad who's falling asleep, pissed off at the amount of commercials, the endless foul calls, Devin Booker with his 20-plus free throw attempts. My, was that an unimpressive 49 points, if it's possible to do that in the playoffs. But when he sees Anthony Edwards making plays, just bringing that bright smile, that joy, being himself, it cuts through to the old man. And he is bringing joy to the state of Minnesota, bringing something different. We have not won a playoff series in 20 years. We have never swept a team. We have never even been up 3-0 in a series before. And we are breaking new ground with this team. It all starts with Anthony Edwards. And it also is in large part due to Chris Finch. We've got a hat tip to this guy. He's had a number one offense, a number one defense with this team, getting us to the playoff 3 years in a row. But he's the only downer of this game. He gets knee-to-knee contact with Mike Conley in the closing minutes of that game. The head coach is the main one that is maybe going to need this downtime and off time before we have our matchup, which will likely be the Nuggets, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But he's the one that needs to get healthy, the head coach. Really tough to see him get that knee injury, and I think the early reports were that it might be a torn patellar tendon in his knee, and that's so sad. But I mean, thankfully he's not going to have to be doing anything athletic. He's got to stand and be on the sideline. Well, maybe he'll be seated if he does coach these upcoming games, but hope Finchie's okay. He's really turned this team around and is already an all-time great Timberwolves coach, maybe the one behind Finch, or not Finch, oh my gosh, why am I blanking on his name? Flip Saunders. I don't know why I just had that blackout there. But he's on the verge of taking that over. Oh gosh, my cat is trying to get in here. I'm going to let her in, and then we'll talk about Karl Anthony Towns. Because Karl Anthony Towns has been poor in this series. Poor in the playoffs. Come on in here already, cat. Get a little camera time for yourself, eh? There you go. He shows up in this game in a big way. All it takes with him at times is just to put him in the right spots. We get him at the top of the key. This dude is an absolute baller. He can drive, he can shoot, he can make plays, see the defense better, and have less panic, less mistakes in his game. And you even saw a lot of 4-5 pick and roll in this one. Karl Anthony Towns getting the screen from Gobert, handling that. And I'd like to see that more, because you think of that, that's almost always going to be a switch with two people that size running pick and roll. And Cat is best when he has the center matchup and can use his speed, drive by those people, and have the dual threat of that plus the jumper. And so if people are having their center on Gobert and we run those pick and rolls, that can open up Cat a lot. We didn't see that much in the regular season. Saw that in this game a lot. Cat did good work early on in this game, managing some of those, also ripping jumpers. Beautiful sky hook over Kevin Durant in this game too. And when he gets the ball in the post on the wings, those plays can work out all right. But a lot of times when he's trying to get post position, he takes that all the way out to the three-point line. That's where he can't pass the ball as well. He makes slower decisions, the reads take more time, and he's less of a threat on the court. This is nothing new with Karl-Anthony Towns. I've been screaming it from the rooftops for years, but sometimes it's just that simple. And then you see when he's put in the right spot how incredible a weapon he can be. We needed him tonight when a lot of the people that have been really steady presences for us did not show up. I mentioned Gobert having an off night. Dude's still making his free throws, though. 3 for 3 on free throws. Also, Naz Reid has not been great in this series. Hopefully he'll step that up in likely Denver. And he also, I want to point out how many hustle plays this guy makes. Like, he had a loose ball foul in this one early where he's just, or not early, but in the second half, where he's diving for the ball, taking out someone's legs. But Naz is always quick to the floor, just doing everything he can to impact the game. Has great block chase down on this one. I think it was on Booker or Beal as well. And so Naz, like, the scoring pops so much with him, but he does a lot of other things, and man, does he grind. Really appreciate his game. Even though he wasn't super impactful for this series, he won 4-0. Who cares? Anthony Edwards was the one who really stepped up. Cat, big in this game, and we just did enough. The defense is always there. Probably one of the all-time moments in Timberwolves history, it may go down, is that the scramble in the last couple of minutes of the game where Kevin Durant's posting up Mike Conley, and he kicks it, the ball swings across the entire perimeter. Bradley Beal tries to drive to make one more pass to the corner, gets stolen. I think it was by Nikhil, maybe Jaden, but I think it was Nikhil. And then that's when we go the other way. Anthony Edwards, that big hammer slam to clinch that game. Kevin Durant doesn't challenge, business decision. And that sequence just absolutely absurd. And I think one that we're going to really cherish as Timberwolves fans going forward. Also, Ant needs to get some whistles on these highlight dunks, please. Like, he gets hit in the head and on the arm so much on these monstrous posters, big slams, doesn't get the and one much. That needs to change. Been a theme throughout the season. Let's get on that, please. We're going to call and give Devin Booker 20-plus free throws on just touchy bullshit contact or him lunging into people and not making basketball plays, but we can't give Ant free throws for poster dunks where he's getting hit in the head. Come on, NBA. Please. We don't need to end on that, though. This was a really joyful series. Amazing moment for the Timberwolves. We've got the guy, Anthony Edwards, however, going against the guy of basketball, Nikola Jokic, most likely next round. If Denver moves on, they're up 3-1 in their series against the Lakers. The Lakers won their last game, so they were down 0-3 to the Nuggets. But we're likely going to be seeing the Nuggets here. You don't like to see probably the most lethal team there is, the defending champs, in round 2. It's the way it is. If we get past them, man, is that impressive. If we don't, I feel really good about what we've done so far. I just at least hope we're competitive with Denver. We make them feel us, and we build for the future if it can't be this year. But you don't put a ceiling on Anthony Edwards in this basketball team. Man, it's been good.